Hi, I'm Sterling Hart, and this is Dreamlight, where we work on dream interpretation and using the insights in the waking life. What do dreams about being kissed mean? Your cultural and personal associations apply as always. There are 4 elements: where you were kissed, both in terms of your body and the circumstances, who you were kissing with, who initiated it, and how you felt about it. If you were pecked on the cheek or forehead, or kissed on the hand or in other places, it will be dealing with custom, and probably is symbolic of your role or your place. It can be expressive of feelings. It can be dealing with gender issues. Men used to kiss women on the hand in some cultures historically. Some communities still do. So who initiated the kiss, how you felt in the dream, how they reacted, if there was a feeling, and who you were kissing. What role does the kiss put you in? Is there anything in your life where someone did some action to define your position? Are there feelings coming into your awareness from yourself or others? The back of the hand or the palm, for instance, is symbolic in its own way. For instance, as this is the place where people can be stamped for bars or events. So a kiss would be some form of mark, perhaps to signal a kind of relationship or feeling coming into being, but still being conditioned by your situation or social group. Or there is some sort of distance between you and what that other person represents. There is social forms that have to be observed, that set boundaries or limits. There is something expected of you. Another aspect is the kiss of death, which comes from the mafia, but the phrase also has this idea of a marked fate, and that someone will bring about an end. The kiss of Judas is similar, so there can be the idea of being marked by a kiss. There is also sleeping beauty in the idea of being awakened by a kiss. In a dream, this would refer to some part of the being that becomes active, such as a desire or new insight into the self or others. Kissing on the lips in the dream can be indicative of intimacy, a sign of shared experience or openness to that kind of experience. Sometimes previous feelings come back as the foundation of new ones. So dreaming of someone in your past kissing you could actually be about what you're ready to be open to. The person you're kissing and who initiates that, if it is known in the dream, the person known or unknown that you're kissing, will most likely be an aspect of yourself. For an intimate kiss, there is some quality of the person as a symbol that you have let in or taken up. You are allowing that person's quality to influence how you see yourself and what you are trying to become. Kissing a baby, for instance, would be accepting some potential and allowing it to emerge. This may be new nurturing feelings of yourself or roles concerning others. It's a way of exploring feelings using the dream person as a symbol of it. So first, let's look at intimacy. As individuals, we experience things. Some things stand out as meaningful. Intimacy has to do with sharing an experience with someone in a relationship where a main aspect is that you experience it together. It is about 2 people doing something that can be key memories that are shared, or their importance has to do with the fact that it is a memory with someone, or you can communicate based on the common experiences and references. Intimacy has a range from everyday informal closeness to being deeply connected. 2 people may have different levels of intimacy in a shared relationship. Lacking that, they are cold or distant. This can come up in dreams. Now, being intimate with yourself may not be as teenager in the shower-like as it sounds. One aspect of intimacy is vulnerability, being open and exposed, allowing yourself to open to another influence and to see your weaknesses. That weakness can be as simple as talking about things that are important to you or that you like, and trusting the other person will not use it against you, make fun of it, or hurt you with it, or even just not hear you, not listen, or treat it disrespectfully. When you open up, there are emotional forces involved that often cause other people to do the same. So you can affect people with your vulnerability, allowing them to become more open. You'll often find in relationships where 2 people are very different that they connected over a shared willingness to be vulnerable with each other. They were in a certain space when they met, for instance, that allowed them to share this vulnerability. So kissing makes a connection. Things like acceptance or to seal it with a kiss, a recognition of connection, allowing something in or willingness to do or experience something. When you look at a dream, then what does the person kissed represent? People in dreams are mostly aspects of ourselves in psychological dreams. They can be related to memories of actual people, if it is someone you know. there is some aspect of them that you relate to. So for example, I talked to a teenage girl who dreamed that she kissed this boy that she knew of. They were outside, but there was nothing else in the dream. In the dream, the kiss was natural and they just did it. She had never met the boy. When questioned about him, she found that she didn't really know anything about him at all, but he seemed like he was cool, smart, and he had lots of friends. He was popular. She had seen him at school competitions, but he went to another school. Upon questioning, the girl said that her friend had started dating someone. She had never been on a date, but thought about it. So the dream seemed to indicate she was open to these sorts of feelings. The boy represented somebody she might like to date, and she was comfortable with the idea. And she also liked the idea of being popular and able to be around and enjoy friends. And so the boy represented somebody that she also wanted to be to a certain extent. I had a dream where I saw helicopters flying over the desert. Then I was kissed, and as the woman pulled back, I saw through her eyes that my lips were burned. This is a dream back in the late 80s. The helicopters to me made me think of my friend's dad, who in the Army had been on a team coming up with different possible missions and shooting down and critiquing those ideas. This was for the Iran hostage rescue in 1980. My friend had told me this story shortly after the ill-fated rescue attempt. His dad had been a helicopter pilot in Vietnam. At the time, there was an image of wargaming various scenarios, but also figuring out what could realistically be done with the equipment available. The failure had led to a lot of changes in development in the military. There was also my time in the Army. Another association was relevant to my friend who took me to some college debates at the time of the dream. I had never been to one, and though I enjoyed it, we ended up talking with one of the coaches about formats for substantive debates rather than logical debates. I was interested in learning, not winning. The burned lips reminded me of something in the Bible. I remember this being an image of purification and the lack of the ability to change people's ways. At the time, I didn't look it up as there was no internet yet. And also, the dream was about my mind. The kiss was also more of the idea of a kiss, and the main image was seeing my burned lips. When I thought about burned lips, it seemed like something that would happen if I ate very hot food. I remembered eating at a place in Chicago where I was unaware of how spicy hot it would be. I remember my lips burning. This made sense to me too, as I had to take cooling food to balance out the spiciness. The seeing through the woman's eyes to me related to a technique where you aim to visualize yourself as another person. You see their face, and then from their eyes, your face, and you repeat, switching views back and forth. Then you do the same for any thoughts in your head. After several times, you can sometimes gain insight into how the other person sees you or some issue, or sometimes there are things you didn't realize about them, but the exercise points them out. This brought me back to the back and forth of the debates, the argument being countered. In the dream, there was not much presence of the woman. She was more of the notion of a woman, and then seeing through her eyes. So after working with the dream, it started to make sense. I had recently taken over the Tai Chi club at the university. It wasn't very popular at the time, but I realized that the people that were coming didn't really understand where I was coming from. I had one training partner at the time I used to work with for throws and things like that. But for the others, they wanted the relaxing movement part. Just simple forms. I had tried several different instruction sets to get them going, and it wasn't working. I was still learning how to train people to get from point A to B. As a result of this insight, I realized that I needed to accept their goals and help them with that, and pursue my goals elsewhere. Once I did this, I then infused the training with other elements, mostly energy work that I hadn't included because of the way I had learned them. I also introduced them to the idea of strength training within the system's movements. This was very successful. As I did this, everyone was happy and I let go of the unrealistic expectations. Then the class became more about getting deeper into a meditative space. I would go as deep as I could and aim to bring them into that space. That seemed to be what the kiss was indicating, the shared meditative space. The burned lips was the idea of balancing the intense martial part for the others and the meditative movements. I needed to incorporate more receptivity and to be able to reach the students. A subliminal dream could include a kiss. This can come from a sense of new energies or a type of blessing being granted, a blessing that would allow you to move forth with some development of the self. It could also indicate a shared desire or someone coming into your life. The difficulty with this is twofold. One, the opening to the possibility, of course, leads to the experience. The other is that it would be easy for desire and ego to seize on the idea when the dream is really psychological rather than intuitional, as is the case with the aspects of a subliminal dream. Looking at it as a possible real contact or vision should be either because you recognize the dream as such by feel, or because the energy you have on awakening, or because you have worked through the psychological part and this makes the most sense. If you got something out of this video, please hit the thumbs up. If you'd like more dreams, please subscribe. Till next time.